Have you ever wondered why there are so many Brood War units that were just not present in StarCraft 2? Today we'll talk about why some Zerg units couldn't make it into the sequel. Overall, there were only 4 units that were scrapped when being transferred to StarCraft 2, and let's first start with those that were very close to making an appearance. I'm gonna repeat myself a little bit here since I have already covered some deleted units, but there is more to it. So the first is Scourge, a perfect anti-air unit that could be used to deal with any flying enemies. While it does splash damage in StarCraft 2, back in Brood War this unit required some serious microcontrol because it only targeted one unit. And since Scourge had very little HP and could be easily wasted on carriers interceptors, you needed to take extra effort to control it. But anyway, Scourge was incredibly efficient in Brood War when it came to countering air units, as well as drops. Here is a small demonstration of how good it could be.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
And obviously the developers were going to introduce it in StarCraft 2, but there were two things that eventually made it impossible. The first reason, StarCraft 2 involves a lot more drop play and small air harass. One Scourge could easily dispatch a medevac, an Oracle or even a Liberator. For this tiny price, it could be way too cost efficient and it would force Terran and Protoss race to be passive and avoid using drops. Another problem is the acceleration speed. If you take a closer look, most units in StarCraft 2 don't have deceleration and they barely lose speed when turning or going back. And this allows you to out-micro Scourge with ease, which makes it kinda pointless. The second unit that didn't make it into StarCraft 2 was the Devourer. It was a high-tech anti-air unit that deals slow single-target damage, but its attack splashes and applies a debuff called Acid Spores. These spores increase taking damage and decrease weapon reload speed. The problem with this unit was that it actually conflicted with Corruptor. The thing is, the Devourer is a late-game unit that's only accessible at Hive level and Greater Spire, while Zerg race needed some mid-game units to obtain air superiority. In Brood War, Mutalisks were suitable for this role, while in StarCraft 2 there are too many direct counters to Mutalisks, such as Phoenixes, Boars and other units. And the Devourer could be morphed only from Utahs, which are not as useful in StarCraft 2 as in Brood War. And what's funny, the Devourer is rarely used even in Brood War. It's a very complex unit, and the Zerg race historically didn't bother much about air superiority since it has better tools on the ground, and that's why it's not common in most matches. In StarCraft 2, it could be a great counter against interceptors, but it's probably the only thing you would need that for. And this unit was replaced by Corruptor and Viper's Parasitic Bomb. There was another flying unit, the Guardian. It's very slow moving, but its power lies in its long attack range. It outranges almost all ground units that can attack it, thus making it a very good thing in combination with Lurkers and some air protection. Guardian was almost a Wings of Liberty, but then it was replaced by Broodlords. Both units are very similar in their roles, but Broodlords add extra swarmy effect and presence for the Zerg army. The latter concept is just cooler, and that's probably the only reason why we don't see Guardians in StarCraft 2. We don't really need units with the same rules and tasks. The last iconic unit that didn't make it to StarCraft 2 was Defiler. This was the epic spellcaster with two very powerful abilities. The first ability, called Plague, did damage in a certain radius. Targeted units began to take 12 damage per second, ignoring armor, until a total amount of almost 300 hit points is lost, or until unit's health falls to 1 HP. The second ability, called Dark Swarm, worked as a protective shield from ranged attacks. Units within the Dark Swarm didn't get any damage, and you needed to use cast or melee units. This was probably the best ability in the whole Brood War. In StarCraft 2, especially in the current metas, most games reach Hive level tech, where Defilers are unlocked. It's very easy to imagine how Darkstorm would make a perfect combo for bailing attacks that couldn't be just hit with any ranged weapons. And do we really need any extra reasons for why this unit was deleted? It's quite hard to dodge bailings even without extra help, and if Zerg players use Blinding Clouds or Fungos, it's just a nightmare. And that's pretty much it for the Zerg race. Which unit would you still like to see in StarCraft 2 if you could choose one? Check out more about deleted stuff from StarCraft 2, and as usual, have a nice day and see you next time.